Hello and welcome to the Narc Alert, the channel where we look at YouTubers and others to see if they demonstrate any traits that fall within the spectrum of narcissistic personality disorder or NPD. These videos are for fun and entertainment purposes only, strictly my opinion, and remember, please don't send any snark to our possible narcs. So key points to remember: messy fun and not a diagnosis. In this video, we're going to take a look at Anna Sorokin. Anna, who's also known as Anna Delvey, was a fake heiress who conned a good deal of New York City's wealthiest by pretending to be a German heiress with a trust fund that paid for a life of glamour. She lived in boutique hotels, wore designer clothes, and hung out in Manhattan's toniest circles. Anna was born in Russia to German parents. At the age of 19, she left home for Paris in pursuit of a fashion degree. Not much is known of her parents, only that she speaks of them as being very conservative, and they did not show up at her trial. In Paris, she changed her name to Anna Delvey and worked shooting photographs for Purple, a fashion, art, and culture magazine. In 2013, she took off for New York. Anna was enamored with New York and found more friends than she did in Paris, so she decided to stay. For a while she worked at Purple's New York office, but eventually she quit. Many have pinpointed this as the moment when Anna Delvey became a full-fledged grifter. She handed out generous $100 tips as she moved from boutique hotel to boutique hotel to keep her image intact. There was always promises of money that never materialized. She came up with the idea of a private club that she called the Anna Delvey Foundation. It was to have exclusive memberships and rotating arts exhibits. She was feeling pressure to open the club in order to attract more investors, so in late 2016 she returned to Germany for a short period of time. She worked at the details of her foundation and created 4 surprisingly realistic bank statements in Photoshop. When she returned to New York, she would use those documents again and again to procure loans. She did end up with a $100,000 line of credit from one bank, but things were starting to fall apart. She was first arrested in 2017 for skipping out on thousands of dollars of hotel bills and lunch bill of about $200 at La Parker Meridian Hotel. In that same year, she had deposited $160,000 worth of fraudulent checks into a bank account. She had invited friends on an all-expenses-paid trip that she ended up leaving them with a $62,000 bill for. And when she returned to New York after that trip, she jumped from hotel to hotel, accumulating bills in the tens of thousands of dollars. At this point, 2 of the hotels pressed charges against her for theft of services. She was also being investigated independently by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for bank fraud. In August of that year, the grand jury was convened and indicted her on counts of grand larceny in the first degree, 3 counts of grand larceny in the second degree, 1 count of grand larceny in the third degree, and 1 count of misdemeanor of theft of services. In 2019, at the trial, after deliberating for 2 days, the jury found Anna Sorokin guilty of 8 charges. In May of 2019, she was given a sentence of 4 to 12 years in state prison, fined $24,000, and ordered to pay restitution of about $199,000. Anna Sorokin was released from prison on February 11th in 2021. She started to enjoy a little notoriety, but in March 2021 she was taken back into custody by ICE, or Immigration and Customs Enforcement, for overstaying her visa. As of April, she's being held in New Jersey, and she's awaiting deportation to Germany. Anna seems to feed on publicity, whether it's good or bad. She has had her story made into a Netflix series. One of her victims has written a book about her. There's more television rights in the works, a partially dramatized podcast, and she's been on 2020 magazine and 60 Minutes Australia. Let's take a look at a couple of interviews and see how our little charmer is doing.
It's like I had no idea what was going on, so just like I kind of like did things.
So you weren't that calculated?
No. I don't see myself exactly as a ladder climber. No, I was just kind of doing whatever I wanted at the time.
So you just wanted to go straight to the top?
Kind of, yes.
Like most people with traits of NPD, she is entitled and special. She came from humble beginnings from all accounts, but felt entitled to be at the top of society without earning it.
Why waste my time? Just knowing the people who were at the top, they just, I don't know. Yeah, it's like they did not strike me as too smart or like too talented, so I felt like, why?
She had determined that she was, of course, smarter and better than the people she longed to be part of, so therefore she was justified in what she did to them. She deserved their lifestyle more than they did.
You flashed a lot of cash during this.
No, I did not actually. I barely have any cash ever. I never have like more than a couple $1,000s at most on me.
People talked about you tipping wildly.
Well, people are
tipping Uber
ridiculous,
drivers,
yeah.
tipping concierges $100 at a time. I mean, was that part of the allure that people saw a little bit of money and they thought you had a lot more?
Well, if someone is impressed by a $100 bill, I don't know what to tell them.
Narcissists like to belittle or look down on people they see as inferior. They can come across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious. I think she's ticking a lot of the boxes here.
You led them to believe that you had a trust fund with millions of dollars in it and it would be accessed when you turned 26.
How did I lead them to believe? It's like, how do I lead someone to believe how much money I have?
Are you telling me now that you never told anyone that you were an heiress?
Why would I tell them how much money I have?
She presented a very carefully cultivated facade for people, telling them she was awaiting an inheritance, living in boutique hotels, tossing around $100 tips, despite having no money. Here she's arguing semantics to distract. He asks about her saying she is an heiress, and she responds with, "Why would I tell them how much money I have?"
First of all. Second of all, it's like no one in New York cares. You cannot impress anyone with 50 million, 60 million, I don't know, maybe with $1 billion for a bid, but then like, no one cares. This is what people fail to understand.
Did you have a job?
Yes, I was a CEO of my company. I was supposed to be like an art center with an exhibition space.
And that was the foundation that you tried to get the $22 million fraudulently, as it turns out, from the bank.
Why you seem so amused about this?
Narcissists can be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, and exaggerate accomplishments. She seems very amused and proud of herself for pulling such a stunt off, and seems to be fishing for him to acknowledge that, in my opinion.
Sold the story and they bought it. Hook, line and sinker.
I mean, because the story was true.
Only a delusional narcissist could look at this story and double down on saying it was all true. There is so much evidence, witnesses, bank records. She served time. But it was true.
It wasn't that hard. Like, I did have this project and I did have this vision, and it probably would have worked out if I did have the money, so.
But you didn't have the money. That's why the project was no good.
If I would have gotten the money from the bank.
If looks could kill, it is almost as if she's insulted that he laughed at her project, which, without any cash behind it, is just a fantasy. She doesn't see it like that. She's superior. Her ideas are superior, and the fact that no one funded her is not her fault.
The whole Anna Delvey Foundation, your whole business, was just this house of cards. It wasn't real, Anna.
So many businesses are just a house of cards. You just don't know about it.
Rachel Deloche Williams was Anna's next target. For once, though, a victim had the last laugh. Rachel turned her ordeal into a best-selling book.
In her little book that no one reads. I don't know. I never thought, like, that's none of her business. She's just some random girl in her 20s. Like, anyone who knows me doesn't believe any of that stuff. She's a photo editor at a fucking fashion magazine. Like, it's none of her business how much money I have.
Anna had Rachel pay the entire $62,000 for an all-inclusive Marrakesh vacation that she had invited Rachel on. She had card issues before they left, and swore to Rachel that she would of course repay her. She never did. She further tries to put down Rachel and her little book as being an effing fashion editor. a job she formerly coveted.
Pretty tough place, Rikers, isn't it?
You could say so, yeah.
Did it affect you? Has it had long-term effects?
Of course, yeah. I never regret going there. I thought it was like an invaluable experience. I could have never created like anything like this for myself. So I did learn a lot from going there.
You don't regret going there, did you say?
No, absolutely not. I would never like want to like just cut out that experience from my system.
A need to always look good is key to a narcissist's life. One way to accomplish this is to appear as if you run the show and be as assertive as possible. Grandiose narcissists often want to look immodest and fearless. She is spinning Rikers, one of the state's worst prisons, as a great time.
Do you see this whole thing as a victimless crime?
I don't see this case as a crime at all. How about that?
How can you not see it as a crime?
What was that so criminal that I've done?
In a bad way, didn't they?
I mean, that's their problem. They said all kinds of things about me. It should not come as a surprise because my whole background is in art and fashion. Is that really so surprising? I care about clothes. At the time when I went to trial, I was, in jail for about 19 months, something like that. And then that's the only thing I could have. I couldn't even have like any makeup or hair products. Clothes were the only thing you can get. Your own new clothes every night that you go to trial. So I just thought that's what I was going to do. That was the only thing I had in my control.
Ah, a grain of truth. She had lost control over almost everything but her clothes for trial, this is true. Recall, though, she had a jury trial, and often defendants and their lawyers will try subtle ways to sway the jury, often with the appearance of the defendant. Anna hired a personal stylist and was seen in a paper daily.
Nobody in their right mind is going to be doing business with you in the future, are they?
Well, I guess there are a lot of people who are not in their right mind in New York.
Your lawyer has described you as a role model.
Oh, thank you. I wouldn't say I'm a role model. I guess like I'm trying to change the narrative right now, and like I'm trying to turn all this attention I'm getting and all the opportunities I've been given towards something good.
Well, that's encouraging.
Thank you.
Because I would have thought that being a role model was something that you are most certainly not. I mean, you wouldn't want people to aspire to be a fraudster, would you?
I'm not a fraudster, so I wouldn't know.
People with NPD expect special treatment and take advantage of others to get what they want. They are conceited and they think others envy them. Of course, she is a role model, not an ex-con charged with grand larceny.
You want to stay in New York?
Of course, I love New York.
Why do you want to stay there?
Why
after all
not?
this?
Why? No one has, like, aside from prosecution, even not them, no one has actually, like, done anything bad to me. Why would I be upset at anyone? It turned out pretty well.
Until it didn't.
Well, it didn't turn out very well for you. You ended up in jail.
I felt like I just did I had all these amazing experiences, and I'm going to write a book about it, so I don't regret it personally.
She will not take any responsibility for her actions. She has even served time for her crimes and still will not admit to any wrongdoing. She has no idea at this point that her ordeal is not over.
No, it's just like not the same as Rikers. Rikers is just happening. Well, hopefully I won't have to be here for too long. Germany is worse than jail.
March 25th, ICE detained Sorkin because she had overstayed her visa. An immigration court ruled that she should remain in custody pending deportation. Months later, Sorokin has not been deported to Germany. She remains detained. Her attorney, Audrey A. Thomas, has appealed the removal order.
I don't care what you think of me. I don't need your approval. I don't need to impress.
Do you feel bad about some of the people that got burnt along the way?
Can you name me the names of the people? And I'll tell you if I feel bad about them.
She doesn't care what others think, as she is so much better than the rest of us. Our input is not needed. She also has little empathy or thoughts of others' feelings. Although far from definitive, this list of common narcissistic traits supplied by the Mayo Clinic shows us she hits almost every single point. Well, there you have it. Anna Sorokin, another peach of a human being. I tell you, these narcissists, they're a slippery bunch. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your patience in my changing schedule. I will be back on Friday with a premiere and another live on Saturday. I hope to have a Kay's cooking video up on TNA2 in the next few days as well. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell. At least 50% of you guys are not subscribed. If you'd like to support the channel, please click join. Not only would that make you a super nice person and Rio's new best friend, but we do try and offer you some extra perks and videos for your membership fee. Now, until Friday, be good, be kind, and hasta luego.